Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com. I want to acknowledge today is would have been my father's birthday. Wherever you are in the universe, Dad, happy birthday. Or I guess that means nothing at this stage, but just that we're thinking of you extra much today. So any of you who are following, U.S. politics, we know that RFK Jr. is the man whose name I will not say, choice for head of the Department of something related to health. I'm sorry, the name escapes me at the moment. Now, there are a lot of reasons why he's unfit to be dog catcher. Literally, he's unfit to be a dog catcher. Never mind in charge of such a extremely, I don't even know what anyone is thinking to make him in charge of anything that regulates human health. I don't get it. However, my real question here today is in the 11th hour, right before his hearings began, Caroline Kennedy, daughter of John F. Kennedy, spoke up, and she released a statement indicating all the reasons why he's unfit. And in addition to that, she used one word in the headline. She said her first cousin, RFK Jr., of course, is her first cousin. She used the word predator. He's a predator. Now, she didn't explain. She said a lot of other things, right? But she didn't explain what that meant. Now, any woman who's ever heard a man described as a predator, we know what that means. We do. However, there are people who will say, oh, she didn't mean that, or oh, that was just like a wrong word. She chose a vulgar word to describe. We women know what predator means when a woman is describing a man. And it kind of sent chills up my spine, particularly because her other first cousin, Maria Shriver, thanked her. So if you use innuendo and you think, wow, if he's a predator in the sense that we think we understand the word, could he have preyed on his own first cousins when they were little? I don't know. So I think I would really like an explanation from the universe to tell us what we need to know regarding her choice of word of predator in describing RFK Jr. Now, I have been focused on the Rosenwald Tarot for a few videos, I guess about 3 or 4. This may be the 4th video by now that I've done in recent days of the Rosenwald. I've done other Rosenwald videos in the past. But this is, I've been focusing on the Rosenwald now for a few videos. And so I had mentioned previously in the last video, I think, and also in my post, some of you may have come across it, that I'm going to do this video using a black and white version of the Rosenwald. In this case, I'm using the one by Artisan Tarot. It's a 22 card deck, Triumph cards only, put out by Artisan. And then after I'm going to do the reading without color first. So I'm going to use the black and white deck first, right? And then I'll lay the same cards that appeared using Marco Benedetti's Rosenwald deck that's in color. And the reason I want to do the black and white first is because if color influences the reading, I want to see it before the color, right? I want to see what just the black and white drawing suggests. Now, let me go off camera, go into my meditative place. I'm going to ask the universe what we need to know regarding her choice of word predator. We don't need to know the gory details. Just want a reality check to see if what we're thinking is what she meant. Okay, so I'm just going to lay 3 cards. I think with 3 cards, we can understand the message of what she meant by using the word predator. Okie dokie. Just a few more shuffles. There's only 22 cards in this deck, and I, off camera, shuffled it 78 times. There's nothing like a good riffle shuffle to disorganize and, the cards. But because I'm still precious about this deck, I don't really want to riffle shuffle it. There's only 22 cards, so there we go. Wow, the Magician. The Fool. Yeah. And the World card. Now remember, in this deck, in the Rosenwald, the World is the penultimate. So it would not be 21. It would be 20. So we'll keep that in mind when we add up the cards. So we have 0 or 22, depending on how you see the Fool. So we have 1. So we have 1 and 20. Okay, so that would give us 21, which in the case of the Rosenwald would be the Judgment card, because the Judgment card is the ultimate card in the deck of Rosenwald. Now, there's the representation, the cards chosen, or by the universe to appear on the table are very interesting. Now, bear in mind, of course, we're just using the Triumph cards. We're not using the pip cards for this, for this spread. So every Triumph card would be interesting, but these in particular are interesting. We have a vagabond or a reckless individual, or right front and center of the primary 3, right? We have a careless person, a person who feels like he's got nothing to lose. Before him, we have an individual who's a con, who's a trickster. So we have a con and a trickster and a reckless individual who's pulling something on the planet, pulling something on his land, his people, and further will be exposed. So what these cards tell me, just looking at the images, understanding what the cards mean in the context of this question, we're not privileged to know specifically, how that word applies to her or the other females in his family or any other women that he's encountered, but it does show us what we need to know regarding society, right? He's a con man. He's reckless. Understanding this card in the context of the question, being given power that perhaps he has no business having. And this card suggests things coming to light. So she's telling us in no uncertain terms that he's not the right choice. And as far as what she meant by the word predator, I guess for the cards to spell it out in the context of how she meant it, it would be imposing on people we have no business knowing exactly what happened. But what we do need to know is that he would be a con and a reckless individual in the context of taking care of humanity or society, being given a position of authority in society. It's a reckless idea. He's duplicitous. This suggests, okay, she blew the whistle. She blew the whistle on him. So we're reading between the lines. We're understanding, our understanding of what she is, what she has spoken is probably true. But the greater message is the threat that he brings to society. Now let me pull these exact same cards from the Marco Benedetti deck, which I mentioned is in color. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, I have these in some kind of order. So, okay, the World card would be, oh, I don't have them in any kind of order. Oh, my phone is glitching again. Oh, and I try to stop the glitch because I tried to, I did all the things that the article told me to do. And it still hasn't worked. It's still glitching. Jeez. Now, how does color affect the read? Now, of course, we have a different image for the Fool card because the Fool card was not included in the Rosenwald sheet that we had passed down to us in Perugia in the book, you know, in the book that was published there. So any artist who's recreated the Rosenwald has had to give us their conception of what the Fool might have looked like. So here we have color. Well, the first thing my eye is drawn to is the Wreath of the World card, right? So if we're to be influenced by color, now see, the first thing that I was drawn to was the meanings of these two cards. Reckless behavior, con, deception, things not being what they seem, very reckless, right? But the first thing I see is the world and the impact of the world. So the first thing I see, I would say that whatever the answer to the question is that she had in reference to understanding what predator meant, it's more important for us to look at what it means in the context of the world and how it affects the world. And then I go right to the Judgment card. Now, the Judgment card with the world in the context of the questions suggests to me maybe what she said and what she meant is how we understand it. She's telling the world. She's telling the world. She blew the whistle, right? So those two cards are the first two things I see before I even see those. And then I say, okay, well, how did we get to this point with that? And it's just like, well, a con man and a reckless individual. So the understanding of the reading, I think, is the same, but my first urgency is to look at these two cards with color rather than these two cards as I did over here. I hope that made sense. I can't linger longer because we have a little bit of an emergency situation. I'll be having one of my babies over, my grandbabies over. The eldest one, we had her for Sunday and Monday. And now we'll have her over today. We had her brother yesterday. And then in February, I'll have the little mini-me of my mother. For those of you who have seen enough of my videos, you know what I mean by the little mini-me of my mother. She'll be visiting in February. But I'm going to sign out now. And, perhaps let me switch the camera. Whenever I ask the universe for the answer to a question, I always preface it with what we need to know. Don't need to know the gory details. I just asked, what did she mean by the word predator? And the answer is, it's more important that we understand that he brings a recklessness and deception. He's lying. He's a con man, and he's a reckless individual. And that's all we really need to know. She knows what she meant by predator. I think by the Judgment card suggesting that she blew the whistle, but that it would be a reckless choice for humanity, the people in question, which would be the citizens of the United States. It would be a calamity for that to happen, and that's all we need to know. And we can fill in the blanks, and I think we already have. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be kind. For those of you who needed that, I sure do need it myself from time to time.